taking 1 hour as a talk and the introduction and the discussion, so not that long, that everybody will get some dinner, of course. And we heard that Simon has to go to another exhibition as well. So I think, yes, let's have a nice evening, and I will hand over to Sabine for the first introduction.
Yeah, sorry, but maybe I also have to introduce myself. My name is Sabine Maria Schmidt. I'm a curator, an art historian, and art critic, and I'm working since 2 years at the Kunstsammlungen Chemnitz as curator. I also curated last year the POCHEN exhibition in the exhibition of the POCHEN Festival last year, which was about the Treuhand, the prize of future. And so there's a relationship between the art institutions of Chemnitz with this very new media festival, this young media festival. And we are very happy now to have a very good coincidence in the city with 2 artists which see a wider spectrum about what happens now with research strategies of art and different interdisciplinary approaches which have to do with digitalization, history, and all the new items which are in discussion. So both artists work, I would say, in a wider art self-definition. I first have to introduce Cristina Lucas. I'm the curator of a show at the Kunstsammlungen Chemnitz. Anja Richter, who's at the moment not present, is curated the exhibition with Simon Weckert, also very welcome here now at the Gunzenhauser Museum. And I first want to introduce both artists very shortly, because later they both give their statements and we want to get into discussion with them both. Cristina Lucas is, I would say at the moment, one of the most, or really important artists of the Spanish art scene, who's internationally exhibited and present. And we show, honestly, in Chemnitz, really in Chemnitz, one of the first bigger exhibitions, museum solo shows in Germany. And we did it with we focused on some of her large video installations, which are work in progress. Some of them are work in progress pieces, representative key works and more recent works of her. So it was a very fine selection of a very big corpus of works she did at the moment. One of the most important pieces is Unending Lightning. It's a very big installation. I think, Cristina, you will comment the work later, right? And it is depending on a certain visual database, but not only a visual database, because we're talking about data today. Data is a very wide definition of how it becomes, what is data, because we started with very classical ideas of everything, what could be measured, what could be noted, what could be evaluated, like names, like birthdays, like historical dates, and so on. So data is not only what we mean nowadays is digital data or the possibility of digitalization of data. It's everything what's around of facts, and honestly, it's something what could be measured and could be calculated by very different sciences and systems. Maybe we can discuss this later, but this could be a kind of common sense to start above. So Cristina is working with a lot of different data, and she's creating different cartographies, but she's also inventing different forms of bringing this informations and researches into an aesthetic form and also into an visualized form, which is in the widest sense art, because at the moment it nearly makes no sense to talk too much about art. I think at the moment it's much more interesting to talk about new strategies, about how to deal with everything what happens now at the moment with images, with data, with all the ways of communication in which we are involved. The same now with Simon. He's also, I would say, somebody who has a very open-minded idea. Maybe he's not even, or when he started, he maybe was not starting like thinking about becoming an artist, which is also very interesting. He started to become, be a do some self-organization as a musician, as somebody who is learning different systems, programs, and so on, and who started to study and to program and to develop very interesting approaches of, I would say, interactions also with our world of internet, of programs and systems. And at the moment at the Gunzenhauser, he's preparing, or he's showing first time a wider group of works, which arose a lot of also I would say attention, especially a piece which was a kind of very funny cultural hack, not only cultural hacking stuff, in bringing systems in a kind of, wie sagt man, tricking out a system with itself. What is hacking? Hacking is like getting into a system, getting into the structure and work from inside, analyzing it and then working against that. So we have a lot of very different ideas, different work from artists from also a little bit different generations, maybe we could say, and different countries. But we have a lot of ideas in common. And I hope that we now, in this talk, we get together or discuss elements which are in common, others which are not, or differences. And I would suggest now that we all get or become on the same level of information, that we start with some trashy videos I and Anja filmed today just with our handies to get you all a first idea about what's up in the exhibitions. So we start with one of the first, with the second video of Christina. Maybe it works, maybe not. This is the second part. The show is Kunstsammlungen Chemnitz. Theaterplatz place. A huge show in square meters, 4 chapters, about 4 six. One prodigious class is about the story of the addition of arts. Huge new piece with paintings, sculptures, and new video. I don't comment this. It's just like a little bit of it. This film is called The People That Was Missing.
When we hope to be wrong. Man surpassed with stolid necessity for lifeless matter.
The other film, there you just check one of the mountain photos, maybe. This is the main hall, the big hall in the exhibition. This is the big piece when you enter the exhibition. This is the first installation. And then you have a new series of pieces, not a new series, but it's the first time that the whole series is actually this special textile works, and with a film which is called Touching International. So it's just a short snack to get into the show. You know, the Kunstsammlungen Chemnitz is not only one museum, it's are many, it's 4, and one of the other very important spaces is the Museum Gunzenhauser, and that's where Simon is showing his work. Maybe we'll also show Simon's pieces. Here we also end with the show, I would say. It's the second video also. My colleague also did a short, handy snapshot through the exhibition. Also, Simon has different pieces. This is one maybe of his very interesting ones. Maybe you will comment this also later, which provoked a kind of, I don't know the English word for Stau, a traffic jam. And you hear the sound of the trumpet, which is very interesting because the trumpet is playing this very famous military goodbye of the missing soldier without human beings, I would say. The absence of players, the absence of human beings. This is only 2 pieces of the show. There are many more. Now we switch over to a video installation also. It's a little bit was in earlier times was what we called closed circuit installations, where you get a reaction of the camera, what is filming, what is happening at the space, but in a very astonishing or, wie sagt man, fragmented or alienated way, verfremdete Form. And this is also very interesting, adds a very good idea of working with cartographies, because Simon is here analyzing the inner politics, I would say, of this big main data platforms like Google and the way they are constructing images of the world, and the images of the world, the images of certain countries, the images of certain borders seem to be very different depending on from which country you are organizing your data. So from a view, I would say it very easy, the view from China on certain countries is very different from the view of the United States from different countries. Do we also see the other film? If not, it might be at the moment a data problem. And we will, yeah, now we will have it. Simon is using programs, but the funny thing is that he is also programming and manipulating a lot of programs. So he, as an artist, he's also he's also a programmer who is doing the pieces. So like Christina's work with a big installation, this is the entrance installation of Simon, where he also produced certain mountains, I would say, or certain accumulations of different, elements of what we are now organizing our data and our vision of the world. So it's trash which is accumulated and then at a certain point taken into discussion or taken into the idea to create new images. And it's more and more like many futurists say, it's this, what is the cable, what is the body of the digital bodies, which have brains, which have cables, like the human beings have veins, which have a head, which have the intelligence or something like that. So finally, we have this image of a kind of fragmented nature in the installation. Yeah. And a lot of stuff what could be used but isn't anymore. Maybe it's autumn also. It's a certain sign kind of autumn. Digital autumn. After the storm, I feel like. Okay, so you all get now a good idea about what the both artists are presenting in the shows. And I would ask now Christina to start with her short statement because she wanted to comment some pieces, and if Simon would like to comment anything what she is talking about from his point of view, it would be very fantastic if he would do so, and maybe vice versa, he might to point out later some statements on his work, and we do it vice versa. Okay? So let's start.
Okay, thank you, Sabina, for the introduction, and thank you to POCHEN for the invitation. Our exhibition is has a whole statement that is in mobile engine, but since we are participating on this program, on this festival about data, specifically is the main issue. I've been more analogical person, and then I became digital when I was already an adult. So for me, it's special. I mean, how an artist can start thinking about the digitalization on internet, how it's affecting your life is something that is part of my process as an artist. So one of my main pieces, I start thinking about the idea of all those information. How can we deal with that? It was Pantone. It's a work I made in the cartography I made in 2006. I started in 2006. I'm not sure if we have the image that maybe we could share on the screen, or maybe we have that data problem. No, it's number 01, please. Well, anyway, I will explain that I decided to make a video of all the idea of state, how the state is evolving with the time, with the years, and how the idea of the state is changing, and how the idea of identity and the nation is, although it seems very aesthetic, is quite dynamic, how it has been changing. But there, of course, the information was on my hands through Wikipedia, through many other information that you could find online as a person just researching on the internet. That was possible because otherwise it wasn't possible to make a piece of art like that. And but all this
Could you
So-
just explain what Pantone, what kind of cartography you worked on? What is the base of this cartography?
Yeah, I was thinking, okay, it was the year 2006. And then I have a cartography of political map of the world. And then I found a globe of the world from 1970 something. And then I found out that the world was very different. So I decided to make all this change, all the tracking of the idea of a state, and from the year 500 before Jesus Christ to 2007, when I finished the work. So you see all this information of the world politically changing. It's very, it's a lot of information. And then this information was possible thanks to internet, to Wikipedia and things like that. All this data that I could collect, sharing all this information. But then I thought that it was such a official information. This information is coming from the idea of a state, what a state means. And of course, in this cartography, there are many things that are out of the idea of a state, what we can think about living together today. So I started making cartography with words, with the language. So it was a kind of a main door for me, like how to approach to the cartography through internet and through social media, sharing information with other people. And also the cartography that we present now in Chemnitz is unending lightning, which is the number 2. And this unending lightning is also a cartography made by many people. Some newspaper, but some books, some researcher, universities, and just things that you can find on the independent researcher, journalist. Because I was thinking like the idea of Guernica is a strong universal painting for us, for Spanish people, for instance, and many other people. And I thought that still nowadays you can feel all those aerial bombing over civilians are still going on. So I decided to make the cartography of the cities that has been bombed. So it is a huge work, but it's a work done with it's not official work, because state do not tell us official numbers most of the time, official figures. So it's a very open cartography, never ending. And the work of the title of the work is Unending Lightning. It's made with the collaboration of many, many people and many sources. And so we try to complete all this information of aerial bombing over civilians, like Guernica. So it also was great to me to be able to create something that it will never be finished, and it's an open source, an open platform where a lot of researchers are really feeding the system with the information. But yeah, the problem with this work is that it's up to now, it's almost 7 hours. So it's very long. It's a work that you cannot just see completely. Maybe you can do it, but it's just a task. And so we made these embroideries with the cities that with the result of a word that once it's finished, you can see all those names of the city that has been bombed. So then you can feel, the scarf of these people, of this legacy. Maybe this is the next image, the number 003, I think. That we show already.
It's one of the textile words, maybe.
The textile word,
that's
yes.
Exactly.
So you see really you can feel like how terrible it was. No, I mean, it's something that isn't more emotive than the really like a way to follow, to search for the city and to see how many civilians and who was bombing and under what conflict. No, it's more emotive, but actually society that has been affected by a war, and it doesn't matter how far this work could be, you can still feel like a kind of heritage, like a kind of scarf. So that's why I also present this work in connection with we decided to present this work in connection with the aerial bombing, super digital, super just digital database and screen work. Also, this other work is more like, I don't know, it's maybe more sensible or something, and something more close. You can feel a little bit more the problem that it still remains on the societies. And the world is absolutely global today, and we cannot think about what is going on in Europe or in the United States. Just, we cannot be Eurocentric. It's absurd. The world is very small, and in global times, everything is connected. So this piece, the idea of approaching to data in such a general way was important to me. And then I present this also. I would like to introduce the piece of the clocks here, because there is an installation called Clockwise that is number 4. Yeah. So in this installation, you are into a space where all the planet Earth has 360 degrees because it's in a sphere. So each degree is represented by 4 minutes. So we install the 360 clocks working, and then into this installation you can feel the whole planet Earth moving at the same time. This time, this global time, is a kind of infinite present that connect us in such a spontaneous way, and the time is collapsed. It's not going forward, it's not going backwards. We are just such deeply connected that sometimes the idea of future and past are coming together in a very special and weird moment for us in global time. So that's why we made this special piece for our exhibition called Present Continuous, with these 2 clocks that are one forward and the other one backwards, in a very abstract way, just only the legs, the hands, but this simultaneously make us think that absolutely everything is connected to the past and the future, and the present is just kind of an artifact that is going on, and the timeline is completely over. It's not working anymore, and so of course we have also the work of the geological time is very different to the human time, and the geological time, it has its own, it's very slow, but our time is very fast, and this problem with the nature and how the capitalism is just changing everything. So I start collecting all these mountains of elements that are dealing with the industry. So those mountains are fake mountains, or mountains generated by the economy, and this